It sounds like we have everybody present, so I'll officially call the meeting to order. The first item is the agenda. We don't, you don't have any other additions to this, right, Katie?
I don't know.
And I think on a special one, we can't, I believe. So ask for approval of the agenda as it is.
So moved.
We got Greg approved, and do we have a second?
Second.
Doug second.
Doug.
And when we do call for a roll, we got to do a roll call. All those in favor say aye. So I'll ask Doug first.
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
And Ted, I say aye also. So motion approved. So we'll go to the new business, which is telecom meeting procedures. I'll turn it over to you, Katie.
Sure. So that's one of my suggestions would be that if you are not speaking, that you mute your mic, just so in case there's background noise, your dog is barking or whatever, it will pick up on that. So unless you have something that maybe that's a good indicator of like you have something that you'd like to say about the matter, just try and mute your mic if you can. If you don't know how, don't fumble around looking for it, because then that will create noise too. Then the other thing I wanted to say was with this meeting like this, we have to do a roll call vote. So Ted kind of already mentioned that. And I mentioned it a little bit ago, but Rory is going to be recording this in two ways. He's going to be recording this with cameras, and then I'm also recording the audio version of it, and we're going to see what is better quality and post that. And this is kind of a good test for our regular council meeting next week, because I have a feeling that we'll be meeting like this next week and possibly May if things continue. But that's all I had on that. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we have to require roll call.
Probably one other thing we should talk about, and I when I came on, I heard you talking a little bit about the video. Do we want to use the video portion of this on a regular meeting? And if we do, then everyone else will need another iPad to open up their agenda. Or we could have Katie mail us agendas. I'll throw that out. I know that's a lot more work, Katie, but I just want to get the response.
I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure that all of you guys have access to internet and have all those capabilities. I would hate to like require you to have those things, but they certainly are helpful. So that would not work if they don't have internet.
Let's start with Doug. How are you on that, Doug?
I'm good, Ted. I printed off my agenda, so I don't need a second device.
Okay, Greg?
You're very quiet, Greg.
Okay, if I learn how to do all of that by the meeting, I think I'll be fine. Otherwise, I'll just I can use the paper.
Okay.
You're okay with doing a video?
At the moment, I am, yes.
Okay.
Chris?
Yeah, I have Wi-Fi.
Okay, do you want paper mailed to you, or do you have another device to get the agenda and the packet in?
Yeah, I have another device I can use.
Okay, Walter?
I guess you could go ahead and mail me the agenda.
Okay.
I have.
Okay. So it sounds like two mailings, Katie.
Yep.
Okay. moving on then to the COVID-19 update, Katie.
Yeah, just to kind of get everything in one spot, I'll just kind of run through all the departments and where we stand as of today. The liquor store is starting tomorrow, going to be open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're going to be offering curbside pickup only. That's Monday through Saturday, so they'll be closed on Sundays. They've been doing a lot of cleaning, and it looks pretty good in there. And taking down pretty much every surface that anybody touches and trying to be as thorough with that as they can. The arena is closed. They have sent Kyle and all of the kids home as of, I think it was last week. The DMV is closed. The community center as a whole, including the library and all that, they're closed. The police department will remain open. I've been telling people that nothing has changed with them. If there's an emergency, call 911. If it's a non-emergency thing where they just want to talk to an officer, call the office at 485-8404. Public Works has changed just a little bit. As always, if you have a sewer or water emergency, call the office at 218-485-4247. If no one answers there, it's forwarded on to, I believe, Phil's cell phone. And Phil stops in every day, checks on all the lift stations and all the wells and everything, and make sure everything's operating as normal. I would say the only glitch that we've had so far is the power outage on Sunday. It seems like some of the computer programs are, I don't know, something's wrong with them, and he's trying to figure all that out. But everything's operational as of Sunday afternoon. I will always be here. If I, for some reason, am not here for a day, I will transfer the office phone to my cell phone. And also, you guys are more than willing to call my cell phone, text me, whatever, email me, whatever you need to do. Then the last thing, just so everyone knows, I know very limited information on the details, but Water and Light is closed to the public. They are still accepting payment drop-offs. So I think they put an extra payment box outside of their office. And Sally has been coming in for a couple hours each day to process payments and get billing out and everything like that. So nothing has completely stopped there. So as far as that's the only update. Not a lot has changed aside from the liquor store closing. I guess some things that I need decisions on today is you guys had previously approved administrative leave up until April 4th, which is Saturday, and that's the end of this current pay period. After that, I need to know how you guys would like to move forward with paying people. And so I'll just mention the same things I did last time. There are a couple of different ways of doing that. Obviously, the first way is what we did, is place everybody on administrative leave. It guarantees that everybody is getting a normal paycheck. And the second way is to require people to use their sick and vacation time if they have any. I guess what I've been seeing on the League of Minnesota Cities email service is that people, I would say not many cities are doing it that way, but if they are, they're allowing their employees to go negative in their sick bank. So there's that option too. But yeah, I guess I'll send it back to you, Ted, so you can kind of give your 2 cents.
Yeah, talking with Tim and Cloquet. Cloquet has decided to go admin into the foreseeable future. Thinking that after some point here, we will be back to work, whether it's 30 days or longer. I did make a call into the League of Cities to see what the majority of cities are doing. However, I got a message they are closed. They do take messages, so I left it with them, but they have not contacted me back. My suggestion is for now that we do admin leave. We can always change that at some future time. It kind of gives the employees a little security. I'd hate to put anybody in have a problem, their family in a problem at this time when it's a national emergency. That's just my feeling. I'll leave it open for comment. I suppose we should go one by one, or we talk
Yeah, that's
over.
probably,
Doug?
sorry, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. What do you
Yes,
think?
I would be in favor of doing it for 1 month admin leave, but I think that a decision needs to be made of either employees putting in for unemployment benefits, those that are not the head of the department, those, because it's costing us over $5,000 per employee per month, roughly, because of all the benefits that they get. I would also be in favor of them, if they had to do that, the city picking up their benefits for their health insurance or something of that nature. But I think after a month, I think things might change quite a bit for my way of thinking, because we're still using the city's, the employee, or not the taxpayers' money. So I want to have that, a real discussion about that, but I'm okay with doing it up to a month. But I think that we should have a plan B. And another option would be using their sick time as an option.
I have
That's
no
right.
problem either with that, Doug, because things will probably change in 30 days, but we should probably state by pay period, like 2 pay periods or 3 pay periods. That way Katie knows exactly when it would end.
Well, it'd be 2 full pay periods.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what that date is off the top of my head, but I can look it up when I get back in my office.
That's just my opinion, and I'll mute myself.
Thank you. Greg?
That what Doug says sounds on the right direction and stuff now, but we haven't. What about the part-time people that don't even have any benefits and stuff like that? So they don't have that part of the problem. So do we do that separately, or do we try and include it all together?
I would say we include the part-time employees, paying them through the 2 pay periods. It isn't affecting them since they don't have the benefits anyway. I mean, we're not paying their benefits now. It'd just be paying them what they would have normally got through the 2 pay periods.
Okay, that sounds good.
Another
Chris?
thing that I guess,
Oh, go-
sorry, can I just jump in here just for a second? And maybe someone can shed some light on like how unemployment works for an employee, because I've personally never had to apply for unemployment. So is it just a percentage of what you would normally make?
That's correct.
Okay, because how the cities, I don't know if this is all government, but I know this is how the city works, is whatever benefits that are paid out on behalf of the city, we have to reimburse the state that exact dollar amount.
Correct.
So, I mean, we would save a little bit of money, but I wouldn't say the savings would be anything to what like anybody is thinking they're going to be.
That's right. But what they did on that is they cut out the delay time for people applying just to help families out.
Mm-hmm.
This will give you time to look at it also. It's not very complicated. Chris?
Yeah, I guess from a like personal standpoint, I just don't know like how it works, because I've just never had to do it. So I know how it works from a business side, but
Sure, no problem. No problem. Chris?
Yeah, I guess I would support the 2 pay periods and then take a look at it when it comes to the end of that to see where we are and stuff like that.
Okay, thanks. Walter?
The administrative leave, I'm fine with. Of course, the big question is how long this is all going to be going on with. I'm fine with the administrative leave as long as we can revisit it, in the future after that point, just to see, you know, because we don't know what's going to actually happen. And you know, with unemployment, like they said, the city will still have to pay into that, you know, if in the future if we went that route. So, like you guys brought up, it's not as big of a savings as you might think. But as far as administrative leave for the next 2 pay periods, I'm fine with that.
Thank you. Katie, I think we need a motion on this, correct?
Yep.
All right, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Oh, that was Chris.
Okay, Katie, you have Chris?
I do.
Do you have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Who spoke up first? Doug?
Greg.
It doesn't matter who.
Okay, you got it, Katie?
Yep.
All right, all in favor, and I'll do a roll call. Please say aye. Doug?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. The motion carries. The next item on the agenda, police chief apps. Katie?
Yeah, I haven't forgot about this. I know it still needs to be discussed. I guess I'm just looking for some direction, some any ideas that you guys have. I guess my question is if you guys want me to reach out to the applicants and let them know that what the world is coming to right now. I don't know. I guess just reach out and explain to them that we have good intentions on looking at these. We just, with all the recent events, we just haven't had time to do so yet. I guess, yeah, I'm just looking for some guidance and hopefully setting up a meeting, maybe even late this week, maybe next week, early next week, to go over. I kind of have an idea of what I'd like to do for the review of them, since you guys all came and looked at them. Maybe I know some of them are pretty in-depth and would be kind of difficult to scan them all in, but if I just give you guys a brief rundown of a little reminder of what each applicant put on their resume, and then we can just go based off of that. And I don't know if you guys are comfortable with phone interviews. Yeah, I guess I just need some guidance from you guys.
We'll start with Doug.
I would like to move forward with at least the discussion amongst the council of who we believe should at least be moving forward, and then we could send out letters to those applicants that did not move forward, if anyone. I think all of us have had the chance, and the longer that we wait to look at the applications, the longer that we wait, I think the more that we're not going to remember. And I know you talked about, Katie talked about scanning things in there, but we have some pretty clear guidelines on who should be moving on based on the their supervisory experience and things of that nature. So my vote would be to have a discussion about it today. That's just me. I'll mute myself.
Greg?
I guess I'm either direction. I guess I'd like to be able to look at them again to get a better choice on which ones I'd really like to eliminate, because probably I would eliminate half of them for sure. And I'm not, at the moment, I don't have the names and so on, which ones I would eliminate at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
Well, I really want to get moving on this. But again, I looked at them before I went on vacation, and at this point, I recall most of the names, but not all of them. So I would like to maybe, I don't know if she could give us a brief discussion on them or what would be the best choice. I remember the top few that I would like to interview, but I can't remember all of them. So I guess whatever I would like to review them again, or at least have a snapshot of
refresher.
what each, yeah. And
Okay,
whether you do that by phone or by email, either way is fine.
Walter?
Well, I guess I'd like to have all the counselors have the information that they would like to get before we have the discussion. I guess I have taken some notes off of the each one of the applications. I mean, I do have some information. I too would like to see us get going on this as far as when we would like to have this meeting to possibly weed down the candidates. I'm open for whenever it works for the other people.
Okay. All right, I kind of got an idea, and I think Katie does too. Just a suggestion, why don't we try to set up a meeting for next week, and between now and next week, everybody try to review them again, that can, or Chris, you're probably the one that can't come in yet, it sounds like.
Well, maybe
If
what
all-
I'll do,
If all
Sorry.
goes well, I should be out of quarantine and back to work on, I think it was Wednesday.
Okay,
well, why don't I do this? I can go into the office, well, when I get done here, I can scan everybody just like the Moose Lake portion of the application, because those aren't like pages and pages long. Those are pretty brief. I'll scan everybody those, and then it'll maybe just be a quick little refresher, and then we can go based off of that.
And
Would that
Katie,
be okay?
we had that discussion, so you knew who I had weeded out. Okay.
But
Okay.
just so then so I guess my thing is, so then we can say like, okay, applicant one, what do we like, what do we not like, that kind of thing. Applicant two, without saying their name, and
Mhm.
being able to be a little discreet. And I don't know, what are people's thoughts about meeting like this on Monday?
as long as we have the opportunity to look at those, because it's been a while since I reviewed them. I need to refresh myself on them also. And also there are a few veterans in there that we have to remember, we have to give somehow account for veterans preference. Just to be careful with that. But I think if we can review them, like you're stating, Katie, and if there's anybody who needs more information, maybe we can set up somehow where they can come in and review them, like put them in the DMV outer room where they can come in and look at them and then leave again.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about veterans preference, now Katie and I, we had this discussion. Do we have to interview them, or was that based on that point system when we used to go out on the graft and assign points?
You have to account for them in a certain way, however you choose. If you use a point system, or if you, I don't know,
If we don't use a point system, how do we account? I guess is what I'm asking.
well, I'm trying to think of that right now. You do, by law, you do have to, and if you don't, you could get burnt on it. So we have to, that has to be accounted for. I don't know how, but if we do a count system, that means we have to grade each of the applicants with the same number system.
Yeah, and I believe we did that before.
Yeah. Like so many points for education, so many points for experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the items that we put in the application form that we wanted them, what we were looking for,
Mm-hmm.
you put put those numbers in there.
Yeah, and preferred qualifications are higher than, yeah.
Correct.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to some of the HR people at the league. I just looked on their website to see if they had any information about veterans preference, and I just can't find, the link doesn't go anywhere. So I'll reach out to them and see if I can find, if they can send me like an example of what one looks like. I'm sure I can, well, I shouldn't say that. I hope
Do
I
we
can figure it out.
Do we have any information from our past hires? Because I know we did a spreadsheet and assigned.
I haven't been able to find anything.
Well, you could do
And that's something you could,
two things we could do, Katie. Number one, we could call Sharon and ask her. I mean, that's what she does for a living. And since we're under contract with her now, I'm sure she could give us some advice. The second thing, you could call Tim because he's been through this before also. So we could do
Yeah.
those. Let's look at those two resources.
I did call him, and he said that he's never scored veterans. He's always just interviewed them.
Just
And I asked him if Cloquet had a points, like a sheet calculator, basically, and he said that they don't. So
we got how many people? I think there's 3 veterans, correct? Or was there 4?
either 3 or 4.
Well, you know, after the review, the ones that we want may already be ones that we're selecting for interview. Just so I think we need to review who they are though first, which ones that we selected, which ones we would cut out. Like let's say that we all agree to 3 of them, and one of them outside of that is a veteran. Then we just invite that person in, so we're including the veteran, you know, that veteran's preference, and we're not breaking the law.
Hey, Ted.
Yes.
Got a question for you. If that person that you're inviting in that didn't make the cut and you're inviting them in because they are a veteran, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what Tim was saying that he has done. I've always used the point system myself. I would prefer that, but I'm just bringing it up for you guys to think about.
There's 3 people that have veterans preference.
Okay. So I guess that's something for the council to think about.
So I guess I just need some clarification. Should I send you guys the Moose Lake application portion of everybody's resume and everything that they've submitted, and then we'll meet on Monday to discuss them? And if you guys need additional, like another piece of information about specifically an item, I can certainly get that to you. But just so then we can move forward with talking and letting people know that we would like an interview with you. I don't have a time in mind yet because of what's going on in the world, and also letting people know that we're not interested.
You know what else we could do with that? We'd have time to, you would have time to talk to Sharon and ask about a point system and some help with it. Whatever the price would be worth it. I don't think it would be much. We're not asking her to review anything. It's to help us set up a point system for interviews.
No, but I'm also going to contact the League of Minnesota Cities and see if they can give me a call so they can explain it a little bit more in detail for me.
Sure, because you may have a hard time getting them like I am, but it's worth a try, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And you
I do have another.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead. I'll finish what you're saying.
I was trying to think of in the past that when we had interviewed before, and that goes back to Talbot, he put in the point system. I don't think we have any of those records readily handy.
Was
They're
it Phil's
probably stored.
position that we did the point system on?
It could have been, yes. We did. I think we did that also for administrator.
I think we did for Phil's position. You can maybe look in his file or those.
Yeah,
uh,
anything
That would have been under Pat.
for when he got the superintendent.
Yeah. That would have been under Pat Omen when he was here. I
Correct.
know we used the point system.
Okay,
I do
I'll
have
look into
another question on in the interviewing. Is this going to be a whole council interview or how are we going to be doing this?
Well, I think when we discussed it earlier in the year, sounded like the council wanted to, all the council members wanted to be part of it.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I was just-
Or was that true?
I don't personally remember that, although that could have been the case. But I guess I was under the impression that it was going to be Chris, Ted, me, and Kelly Lake.
You're right. You're right. The other one was for the administrator. Yeah, you're right, Katie.
And if the whole council wants to be there, I guess I don't have a problem with it. I just don't remember that conversation.
Yeah, I was thinking about the administrator, not the chief police.
Is that everybody's recollection? That was my recollection. Doug?
My recollection was that the whole council was going to have something to do with it. Again, if it gets to a certain point, you know, there could be a conflict of interest that would take me out of it if it gets there. As far as, I just want to have the whole council, in my opinion, be part of the process of getting to the final 3 people or whatever we're going to interview.
Oh, exactly.
Then I'm fine with what you guys have come up with. I was not a part of the decision to have Ted, Chris, Katie, and Kelly involved in the process. I was told that's what was going to happen, so I don't know where that came from, but I just want to have a part of the process of getting to the final candidates. That's all.
Thanks, Doug. Greg?
I think I'll go along with Doug on that part, because I guess the end part of it, by the time we get down to the last 3, the qualifications and stuff like that, I don't quite understand that well anyway, so I'm fine with just being able to be part of the original, coming down to the last 3.
All right, thank you, Greg. And I think, Chris, are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Walter?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
All right, thank you. All right, so Katie, why don't you review that then for next week? Did we select a date yet? We talked about Monday, but is that the date everyone wants?
I'm available as long as I have the information
Okay.
to refresh myself.
Yeah, what is today? Today's Wednesday. Is that enough time, Katie, to get the stuff together and emailed everybody, or should we push it out into the week?
I think I can get it out this evening. So
Okay. So we're talking about Monday at 4 p.m.
I'm okay with that.
Doug?
I'm okay with that.
Chris?
I'm okay.
Walter?
I'm good with that.
Okay, Monday, at 4 p.m., then we'll meet to try to get the candidates down to 3 or 4, whatever the council agrees on that. And then we'll go from there, the next step.
Katie, could you also send that posting again that had the preferred qualifications and stuff? So when we're looking at it, we can compare who has preferred and
Yep,
et cetera. Thank you.
no problem.
All right, and in the meantime, Katie, you'll look at a point system, see what we
Yep.
can do. All right. Are there any other items? And that's all I have on the agenda.
Ted,
Yes?
I got a question. When we're talking about preferred, my concern is we have a minimum qualification to be interviewed unless we're looking at veterans preference. Is that the understanding of the council that there's going to be a minimum, or are we using preferred or minimum qualifications as a guideline? I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
Well, I think that's where I was hoping Katie could get with Sharon and have a discussion on Sharon's experience on doing this. Right now, she's involved with the hiring of the police chief in Cloquet. And I'd like to hear what Sharon suggests on that for a point system for us.
And I guess I'm just looking at it, if you had 2 candidates for almost equal, but one had the preferred qualifications, that would give them an edge, is what I guess in my mind I was thinking.
Yeah, I know that, and I know that that falls into a lot of applicants, but it's part of the law that we got to follow. If we don't, you can run into a lot of problems with that if you don't
Well,
follow.
you're talking to veterans, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, my comment, I shouldn't have even mentioned veterans because that's not my concern. My concern is if an applicant doesn't meet the minimum qualifications, are they going to be allowed to move on?
But I think that's where we need some professional help with that. Some people like Tim automatically interviewing. That's what he's doing. That necessarily doesn't happen all the time. If the points are not there, they don't meet the like you say, you have to be above 70% on your count. Well, the person may have 60, and that's with 15 points of being a veteran. Like maybe they scored a 45 and 15 onto it, and that gives them 60. If they don't make the 70 cutoff, they're not interviewed. Some just automatically interview them so they don't have problems, and that's probably why Tim is doing that. He doesn't want a veteran coming back with a Veterans Affairs lawyer or VA lawyer or whatever, you know what I mean? So it can be done either way, and I'd like to get Sharon's opinion on that, I guess, just so that we're covered.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about the veterans. I'm talking about if someone's not a veteran and they don't meet the minimum qualifications as stated in our posting for the police chief, are they going to get an interview or not, I guess? And I know that you're talking about a point system, but I'm just talking about a regular person that's not served.
I would think
if they don't meet the minimum requirements, then that's cause for not getting an interview.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be normal, I think. That would, if you can't reach even the minimum requirements, I can't see that happening then. I can't see you making the interview round, especially if you have candidates that are qualifying with the minimum, even well above the minimum. You would be choosing them for the interview process.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that all of us were in agreement on that because just so there's no gray water, that's all. So, thank you.
Oh, you
Well,
bet. Thank
I think that goes back to my definition of before this went out is what we considering supervisory experience. Because
Right.
I noticed in some of them that they said they have supervisory experience, but there's nowhere indicated in any of their paperwork that they have had supervisory experience. So,
I agree with you.
Yeah, some of that's due diligence on our part. We have to know who we're selecting. At some
Mhm.
point, we have to do reference checks. Like if we get to 3 people or 4 people, we got to do background checks and reference checks before we interview them.
yeah. Okay, I think we're all in agreement.
Katie, do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
I think that's it till next Monday at 4 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
You got it, Katie?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
second,
Doug? All in favor, say aye.
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 Greg? Chris?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So motion's adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.